MC, I want to go over these.
Hey.
Okay. So A and B, in this first one, we kind of talked through this, but A and B are here. They're both like the top left of their little section, and those would be corresponding. So what would be corresponding to G? Z. What would be corresponding to F? The C. Number two, or B, G and B. So G and B are here. They're both inside of the parallel lines. They're on the same side of the transversal. So that's your same side interior. So G and B are same side interior. There's another pair of same side interior. What's that? What's the other same side interior pair? K and C. Good. One C is G and C. So that's these two guys. So they're still interior. You're still inside the parallel lines. But now you're on opposite sides of the transversal. So that's your alternate interior. What's the other pair of alternate interior? So you got G and C. What's the other one? A and B. Good. A and W. So those are on the outside of the parallel lines and opposites. So that's alternate exterior. A and W. What else is an alternate exterior pair? F and G. So when you guys have this, kind of starting to talk about number two now. But what's true about those two angles? They're the same. What kind are they? Those are vertical, right? That's from like last unit. But they're the same is the main point. What's true about K and B? They're the same. Those are alternate exterior, and that means they equal each other. What's true about B and W? They're the same. Why? Angles. What's true about A and B? They're the same because they're corresponding. All four of those angles have to be the same number. So when you go to do number two, there's only two numbers that you write down. That's 50. That's 50. That's 50 because those are all the same. And then what's true about F and G? Those are the same, right? G and C? Same. C and Z? Same. So if I go up to this one, I got 50, 50, 50, 50. I got to figure out one of the other ones. So let's say A. What do 50 and A have to add up to? 180. So if I subtract 50, that's 130. And that's obtuse, right? So any obtuse angle in there also equals 130. So everything is either equal or adds up to 180 every time. Questions on one or two? Chunk that, is there like a question I can answer?
Davis put on the board over there because all of the angles that are in red equal the same. All the angles that are in black are equal. And it's basically you use the rules, what are they called? Theorems?
Sure.
If you use math words, but the rules, some super smart mathematician figured out that always in this situation, these types of angles are going to be the same. So even if you put on your note card and use two different colors and know that the angles that are 2 and 3 and 5 and 6, if you've got a picture that looks like that, those angles, if you know, so in this case, if you know what 50 is, you automatically knew, and that's in the space of number 1, you would automatically know 1, 4, 5, and 8 are the same because they're the same color or the same place. And so maybe that color will help other people, especially if you're using it on your note card.
I think a lot of you guys are like overthinking it too and trying to like, I'm gonna do it like the geometry way, like the technical math way. Just look at them. Like, is number one is obtuse, right? And so is number 4. If they're both obtuse, they're equal. Like, straight up. There's no other way around it. Number 2 and number 3 are both acute. So they're equal. So let's try this. 1 and 6. Equal or add up to 180? How many say equal? How many say they add up to 180? Those are the only 2 choices. They're not equal because that's obtuse and that's acute. So if they're not equal, then they must add up to 180. What about these 2? Equal or 180? 180. What about 5 and 4? Equal. I don't really care that much if you know their alternate interior. I care that you know them equal. 4 and 6. They're not equal, right? Because one's obtuse and one's acute, so then they add up. That's the only 2 options you have. They're either equal or they have to 180. So number 3 here. We got this angle. What did that say? 3x plus 4. I've got this angle and this angle. Is this acute or obtuse? Obtuse. Is this acute or obtuse? Obtuse. So what do we know about these 2 things? They're the same. So like just look at it. You know, you don't have to overanalyze it. So if they're equal, I write one down, I write the other one down, and I put an equal sign in the middle because they're equal. And then I do my algebra and solve this. So I would subtract 7x. So those go away. This will give me negative 4x plus 4 equals negative 12. I would subtract 4. So negative 4x equals negative 16. And some of you did this differently. I saw it on your desk. If you put the variables on the other side, you get 4x equals 16. But either way, you should end up with x equals 4. Question on 3. Why'd you do this? Where'd you get this from? Right, 4. Are those 2 equal? Are they either both acute or both obtuse? That's obtuse, right? And that's acute, so they're opposites. So what do we know about them? They add up to 180, so I have to add them up and set it equal to 180. I just solve that. So this is the one where I'm not going to move things back and forth until I clean up like each side. So I can combine those, and that's 10x. And then divide by 10. So number 4 is 18. Which I like 3 and 4 I think are pretty tough. We only did them for one day yesterday. I saw them on a lot of tasks. So that's good. Alright, let me hand out the next thing we're doing, and then I'll do a few with you, get you started. And then you'll have time to work. Make sure you submit, take a picture and submit. Use this one.
Are you doing any with us, or are we just rocking and rolling?
No, I'm gonna do. Well, there's new stuff. Kinda. Kinda. I don't know either. Let's see. Yeah, most of it. We're gonna start with number 19. 1 through 18, you guys did yesterday. I'm gonna have you practice again because I think we need more practice. But we're gonna do number 19 together right now. Number 19 is new. 19. So, I got 2 angles here. single problem. The two angles will either add up to 180 or they're the same. This one is a cube or obtuse. This one is obtuse. So they're not the same, right? So if they're not the same, then they add up to 180. So some people were, I remember some people were adding up vertically. I'll do this one that way. Go through it that way too. Or I'll just go through both. So if I add these up over here, what's x plus x? 2x. 63 plus 133, like you can just throw that in your calculator. It's 196. And so now I've added these two up. What do I set it equal to? 180. Well, if you're doing it this way, you can choose, I don't care. If I combine those two x's, there's my 2x. And if I combine the numbers, there's my 196. And I get the same thing either way.
You're going too fast.
I'm trying to show it both ways. You don't need to know both. I was just giving you two examples. How many of you guys like the verse? Like, you stack them up and down like this. So now I'm going to subtract 196. So 2x equals negative 16. Nobody speak talking, please. And then divide by 2, right? So I get negative 8. I shouldn't have circled it, actually. That's not my answer. So it's very tempting to think that's your answer because that's like where we stopped yesterday. That's where we stopped on the warm-up. But they're saying find the measure of the angle in bold. Can you tell that angle's like a little darker? It's like bold compared to that one. I mean, it's not great, but I think you can tell. So they want to know the measure of this angle. Like how big is that actual angle? Well, that angle is whatever x plus 33 is. And what's x? Negative 8. So now we got to take that negative 8 and put it in place of x to get the actual angle. And then check to see if it makes sense. This is a cube, right? So should that be bigger than 90 or less than 90? Should be less than we are. So that makes sense. If I got 110 and it looks a cube, I probably did something wrong. So just keep common sense in mind. Yeah. Are there any questions on 19?
And the only thing I'm going to clarify is always read what those instructions say. Like, is it looking for x or looking for the angle? And I know that's what he just said. I'm saying it again. Because if you just find x, your answer is incorrect. And that sucks.
Yeah, that would suck. Yeah, that sucks when you do 75% of the problem perfectly and then just don't read the instructions. So let's do 20. 20 is a little tricky. So I'll ask you guys, do those look the same? I think it's really hard to tell.
You won't do one like this on the test unless you make it clear.
I'm not going to put it barely. So normally it'd be pretty clearly. You think it's easy to tell? What is it? Well, let's see. How many think it's a right angle? How many think it's 90 degrees? Perfectly right down the middle, two right angles.
Right here.
How many think they're different? Okay. I think that's what happened earlier too. It's half and half. If I'm not sure, I can always do the add up to 180. That will always work. Because those two angles, that and that, what do they make?
180.
They make a line, and the line is 180. Yeah.
What are these arrows for?
That means the lines are parallel. So if these add up to 180, then I got to do that. I'm going to add them up. Whether you do it this way or horizontally, I don't care. But after I add them up, what am I going to set them equal to? 180. So solve for x, whichever way you do there. add them up, you get to 180, right? Not subtract them to 180.
Yo, I'm tripping, bro. I'm
So you should get 20x, 25x when you add these two up. 6 plus negative 1 is 5, and then we set it equal 180. And then I just got to solve this equation. So subtract 5. So 25x equals 175. Divide by 25. How many quarters are there in $1.75? 7. But that's not what they're asking. So first of all, how many got x equals 7? Does that make sense? Okay. Questions on how I get to x equals 7? Okay. They're asking for the measure of the angle in bold. So that one's like a little bit bolder. Can you tell? Hopefully. So that angle is 13 times x minus 1. But what's x? 7. So it's 13 times 7 minus 1. Which comes out to 90. So if that's 90, that has to be 90. And these two actually are the same. We just weren't sure. So every single question, they're either going to equal each other. It's right here. It's going to be blah equals blah, or blah plus blah equals 180. Every single one. Your assignment, homework, classwork, whatever, is the odds. All the odds on an entire sheet. 1 through whatever, do the odds.
What if we already have half the paper done for next week?
No, they're different problems, maybe. They're not the same problems. Yeah, different numbers.
So we have to do it every one.
You have to do the odds.